Hi guys, and welcome to our 3 different channels. Today the introduction is quite different. That's because I'm recording one single video for all 3 channels, because what I'm going to talk about today is actually applicable to all 3 of them. So I would say welcome back to Jesus is Enough Ministry, which is our preaching channel. And then we have the Black Consciousness Movement channel, which obviously you know what we talk about. And then we have the single, married, separated, and ready to mingle, whatever channel. So what we're going to talk about today is about our children, especially when they reach, like 13 years to 15 years. There's a lot of things that changes, hormone change and all that. We actually call it puberty. And because of that, there's a lot of things that change even in their mood, the way they take stuff and all that. So it's very important. So today we're going to talk about that. So let's get started. And I'm also going to probably share what I'm going to share next on the different channels. Today's video is going to be shared on all 3 channels except for the workout channel. But I'm also going to share separately what you can expect next on each channel, because it's not always that we record the same video for the same channels, but in this case obviously it's needed. Anyway, without wasting your time, let's get started. When we say black is beautiful, we are not comparing that beauty with other races. We are not saying black is beautiful more than white, black is beautiful more than brown. We are just teaching mainly that black is beautiful. Talk about our children, and I'm gonna share kind of a personal experience with my own son. He's 13 years old, and there's some things that I realized when he was sharing these things with me, that sometimes as parents we don't realize what our children are coming up against, and it's important to actually acknowledge their feelings and so on. So I'm gonna start right with it, but before I do that, I'm gonna actually want to share so that you know what to expect on the different channels. So on the Black Consciousness Movement channel, the next thing that I'm gonna discuss is about what is staring us in the face right now. I'm not quite sure. I'm somebody who's ready to die anytime. That's why I live my life as if every day is the last day. So I don't know whether we are staring World War III right now, or whether, it's probably maybe just kind of a bluff, or, I don't know, but I'm going to share on our upcoming, sharing. And then on our single separated channel, I'm actually going to react on, oh my God, I don't know, but last time we reacted on the Ultimatum South Africa. Now we're going to react on Perfect Match. I'm going to kind of take you through maybe Perfect Match 1 so that you can kind of have an idea of what's going on, but it's not really a follow-up anyway. It just got out recently, like yesterday. I've not even finished watching it, but it's so interesting. And then on our preaching channel, we're going to talk about avoiding evil appearance. What is evil appearance, and what does the Bible mean by avoid evil appearance? It's very important for us to know what that even means, because sometimes we take things out of proportion and so on. So anyway, let's get started with our children. But I'm going to probably show as I go what I said I'm gonna share, on the other channels and so on, so you can just follow with me as I'm talking to you right now. But now let's start with our children. So one of the things that I can share is that we grow up differently than the current generation. I think our children are pretty much, I don't know whether I should say they're smarter than us or technology makes them smarter than us, because we didn't have to deal with a lot of things that they are faced, that is coming against them right at the present moment. Anyway, today, before I get started, today is June the 7th. I'm recording this from the comfort of my home. The weather is so good in Toronto. It's 2:55 as I'm recording this, and I'm just really so excited to be able to live in one of the most amazing countries on earth. Yes, Canada is the most amazing country on earth, and I love it, and I'm living in the most expensive city on earth too. But God is good, and we kind of give glory to God in that sense. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna start with so I have this thing where my son, for example, will say, "Oh, mommy, I'm so depressed," or "I'm so stressed." He doesn't really use the word depressed. It's kind of foreign in our house, but he will say like, "Mommy, I'm so stressed." And the African mom that I am, or should I say maybe the mom that I am, because I think probably, I don't know how the Western, moms will deal with that. But I'll go like, "What? Why are you stressed? You don't pay rent, you don't do this, you don't do this." And obviously I will go there with a blah, 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 blah. But I realized that having that kind of approach is not only damaging, but it's like telling the child when they say, "I have a headache," that you are really not having the headache. Or the thing where, I think most parents do that. They call, like for example, the child, I don't know whether I can place that video here, but it's a video about maybe the child saying that this is what's going on, and the parents starting to count what they are going through. And I think that's a very unfair kind of way of dealing with, feelings for a child, because children just want you to acknowledge that what they're feeling is real, because it is real. Our children are facing things that we didn't face. They're facing, pop-ups on their phones that is going to take them to websites that they shouldn't even be able to see to begin with, like porn. And we never had to deal with that. We were just growing up as children, free of any stress, to be quite honest. I remember I grew up in a village, and the only thing that I was probably stressing about is when it's time for me to go back and not playing hide and seek, because I love hide and seek. I think, I think in the olden days, it's because I was born in a country where we didn't have labels for children. So we didn't have like things like ADHD and all those kind of things. But I believe I probably had it. And so does Peter the disciple. I feel like in the time of Jesus, there was no labeling in that kind of sense. But I believe that Peter definitely had ADHD. If we determine ADHD to mean what it means right now, a child is too active, too challenging, too probably outspoken and all that, which I think it's normal depending on a personality, then obviously I think I had that, and I think Peter the disciple had that, and I think probably a lot of people who were born in the olden days were having it without being labeled. Anyway, going back to what I was trying to say, I grew up really worried about, I don't want to go and sleep, I just want to play the whole day. We had no cell phone, we had no television. Well, we had television, but not in the village. I grew up in the village. When I visit my mom during holidays, then we have what they call holiday special, but they were limited. We were still playing outside. We came, like, literally, to be quite honest, literally watching TV in the olden days was a way of just like sitting there and then going to sleep, because you came back from playing outside, because now you had to come home. And I think we also grow up in a safer community, especially growing up in Africa. When they say that a child is raised by the whole village, what they really mean is that every single person knows we know each other so much that It's impossible for a child to be kidnapped, a child to be like raped and so on. And I'm not talking about other things that happen, in the closet in that sense, because that's everyone. I'm not talking about what's going on right now in the world where there's a lot of kidnapping, even back home as I speak, It has now reached everywhere. But I grew up in a community where you can walk a long distance being recognized by everybody. Oh, this is whose child, this is whose child, this is whose child. It was a very nice, safe environment. But our children right now are not growing up in that kind of environment. They have to be able, for example, my son where I'm living, it's definitely Toronto is the safest, it's a very safe city in general. I can literally, my children can go up to 12 o'clock anyway and come back safe and so on. But obviously, living in the kind of world that we are living in, we are obviously very careful. There's another type of environment where I would not be able to allow my child to go up to that late. But in Toronto, I am so safe. You can literally walk 12:30 or even 1 o'clock a.m. anytime, anywhere in Toronto. And I think you are pretty safe. I think I love this city for that. And also, I'm living in an area where, honestly speaking, my son can go out to play he obviously we live at the Danforth and Victoria Park, and my son can go to Josh Webster where he's schooling and go and play there for 4 hours, non-stop, and I will not be worried about a thing because here we know each other. I think in Danforth and Dawes, I think a child is raised by a village because everybody knows about everyone, which is quite good. Having said that, it does not take away the fact that children are stressed right now. And, as I said, I was sharing that I will tell King David that, you don't pay rent, you don't do this, so you shouldn't be stressed. And I realized that was frustrating for the child because he is frustrated because he has things that they go through that we don't understand. And all we think about is that they are not stressed because they don't pay rent. It's not about paying rent. And I'm sharing this so that other parents can take note and really be careful. Because remember, we are in a country, or I'm talking about abroad now. It's different in Africa. How we raise children in Africa is different. Here, children has much more rights. And I feel like even being given so many rights actually stress the children, because children here actually have the right to decide that they're gonna be boys if they are girls, and they're gonna be girls if they are boys. And I have nothing against it. I mean, wait until the child is 18 and let them make their own decision. If they still want to go ahead with that, that's their own. They are mature enough. But I feel like I fail to understand how a 10-year-old or an 8-year-old can actually decide to shop their genitals because they don't feel comfortable being who they are or who they were born. And I'm not judging anyone, but I'm just being honest that I was a 10-year-old and I pretty much know that if I was given the choice to live on something, I could live on ice cream, right? Because as a 10-year-old, I didn't know how harmful that was for me, and I love ice cream, right? Most children probably will live on donuts, all those things that we know they shouldn't live on, because they are not capable of making the right decisions at that age, right? So if a child cannot decide that they're gonna live on donuts, on ice cream at age 10, how is it possible that we think that they can make such a big decision as deciding not to be a girl or a boy or whatever they were born in? How can we think that it's okay for them to decide that? So literally, children have to live under that kind of stress, because it's almost like children are now parenting themselves. They have the right to do whatever they want. And you might not know, you think children are happy making those decisions. No, children are not happy. They are stressed about it. Anyway, I'm going to go on a personal level, and I'm not going to share like everything, but I asked him, David, why are you stress. What is it that's stressing you? And one of the things that we're talking about is how much time he spent on a PlayStation. And he said that, Mommy, if I can be honest with you, most people who are spending time on a PlayStation, they just want to escape the reality. I'm like, what is that even supposed to mean? I was shocked because I don't have a clue what escaping reality really means. And he shared with me that there's a lot of things that stress them, and he's not the only one. Most children are stressed that he knows about. And I'm not shocked because I realize that even what's going on in the world, like the war, World War III approaching, all those things stress children out because they don't know what to say. And the thing is, in the past, we were probably safe from those kind of knowledge because we didn't have all these things. There was no technology. And I'm not saying technology is quite a bad thing, but it's quite overwhelming to our children who are just so small to be able to even know what's going on. So the video, really, when you look at it, is just to share about that we need to realize as parents that at age 13 and 15, as children now becomes teenagers, they are going through a lot of changes in their body. But to top that off or to make things worse, now they have technology that's bringing things to them. They are coming up against things that we never had to deal with. Things that are popping up on their phones that they shouldn't see as children. And it's insane. It's insane. So all I wanted to say to the parents out there, please be supportive. Acknowledge that what your children are feeling are real. Because I was one of those people who were saying that, oh no, you don't have to be stressed because you don't pay rent. It's not about that. They are feeling that stress is for you to acknowledge that I understand. And although me and my son, King David, are not at the place yet where we kind of like see eye to eye in the sense of like really agreeing, because he's that child is so eloquent. He knows how to kind of convince me to do something and so on. But now I'm beginning to realize that the more I'm acknowledging his feelings for real, for being what it is, as a reality, and not like putting it down as, oh no, it doesn't exist and so on, we are beginning to understand each other, slowly moving there. Because King David is one of those children like who can really, and I think I love that about him. He can share things that most children are afraid to share with their parents. We have that kind of relationship. We have built that kind of relationship, and I'm so happy for that. And that is one of the things that as parents we need to do. We need to build a relationship where children feel like being able to come to us when they have a problem. And I'm very blessed that I have a very good friend of mine who is like a grandmother to King David. So they usually do devotion on the phone together, and you know, like we put the schedule on what he's gonna do and so on, because the PlayStation itself, it's one of the most harmful thing. Even though yes, he said that it's escaping reality, the PlayStation, I don't know, but probably other parents will share, PlayStation or any games for that matter, create this thing in the child mind. It's almost like my earrings fall. Oh my god, what the heck. Anyway, it creates that kind of it's almost like cocaine, you know, like a dependence on it, in the sense that if you, I don't know what's going on, in the sense that you have to almost depend on it so much that if it's taken away from you, you have that withdrawal period kind of thing, just like it happened when you haven't smoked for a while and so on. So we need to be careful when it comes to the PlayStation. It's very harmful to the brain. It's very harmful. It harms relationship between parents and children. So we just need to be careful, and we need to acknowledge children's feelings about things that they are feeling. Anyway, we are coming to the end of this video. I don't want to make it long. So please guys, take care of yourself and enjoy the summer. My earrings just for enjoy the summer. From me, Jehovah, take care and God bless you. Bye. Isizwe sabathu